Hey, Internet! Oh, Mr. Chips, thanks. Thanks for your help, Mr. Chips. What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's Monday, and I'm 1 minute early, but 9 minutes late. Yeah, well, you know, them's the breaks sometimes, you guys. I had to render the video. So, let's address why I'm a couple minutes late right off the bat here. I had to re-render the video because something happened. I don't know what happened. And I don't know what happened to the chat. Or, sorry, not the chat. I'm over here pulling open the pop-out chat. There we go. I don't know what happened. We got like 70% through of the render on the video, and then it was like, oh, hey, like, we're cool, man. Like, that's it. That's going to be it today. That's all you're going to get. And so then I had to redo the render, you know. Sorry about that, guys. And, you know, I apologize for being late. But you know who wasn't late today? Mr. Daryl Diamond. Daryl Dimer. I almost called him Daryl Diamond. Maybe he should go by Daryl Diamond. That'd be dope, right? That'd be cool. Daryl Diamond. Diamond Daryl. I like it. It would be cool. But yeah, Daryl Diamond was here early along with a bunch of other people like Gone Mad, Candy Overhauls, C&H Aquatics, Mr. Wet Sleeves, Swift Aquariums, Petite Bro. How you doing, Petite Bro? Frank Dominguez coming in not first. Not first at all. But don't forget about Lord Getface, Flynn's Fish Forum. How you doing? Lena Mend, Bobby Rosenbaum, Douglas Palmer, Tim Lewis. What's up, my man? How you doing? Nathan Hazlitt. How are you? I'm trying to read. Robert Ricapito. Robert Ricapito. What's up, man? Mateo 5001. What's up from Chihuahua, wherever you are out there in the secret lands of Wyoming, Idaho, Montana. Could be any of them. Could be Oregon. Speaking of Oregon, we're going to talk a little bit about yesterday's Oregon trip for sure today. Let's see. Brandon is here. Gary B, Tampa Tom, Turbo Fish, Wichita Falls, Witchkeeper. Wait, what? Wichita Falls Fishkeeper. Ha. Derek Runyon, what's up, my man? Freshman Aquatics is here. Jacob Tangard, Ryan Charlesworth, Leslie 2009. Don't forget Frank Dominguez. He's normally first, but not today. Not today, my friends. Not today. Gaddis Aquatics, Licks Nibbles is here with a little hey. How you doing? Stephen Keller Jr., Sharon Gregoire. How you doing, Sharon? Brian's Fish Tanks. What's up, my man? Good to see you in the chat. Bentley Pascal, Turbo Fish himself. Liz Ward is here. Heather from Varuna Aquatics, Bare Bottoms Aquariums. Famous Jones. Sean Craib. What's up? How's everybody doing? I'm going to miss a bunch of people, and I'm sorry for that. It's not on purpose. Oh, but Savannah Morrow, what's up? I'm going to talk about Savannah here in just a minute, along with some other folks. So, over the weekend, I think some of you have noticed that we did Corey and I did a little live stream action from the Portland Aquarium Society. And I also put up a secret video on the Patreon. If anybody has been to the Patreon, secret videos on the Patreon. We were on the Patreon and threw up a. I realized that you can now you can do little Patreon videos, sort of Snapchat style, I guess. So I'm working out my style on that. You know what I mean? I'm working out my style. I got to figure out what I want to do. Do I want to just make jokes on there or something? I don't know. I'm just getting a vibe for it, and you know, I don't know. Hopefully people like it or whatever, or maybe they don't. To each his own, right? Or her, I guess. His or her. Either way. 137 people on a Monday. Look at that. Getting people out of bed. Getting people out of their funk, I hope. The funkadelic. We got to get out of the funkadelic. Or maybe into the funkadelic. Haha. Maybe. Multi-Tank Addiction is here. He was there yesterday. Bobby Rosenbaum says he bets it was awesome. It was. I think it was fairly awesome. I think we did the best. I think we did the best that we could. It was my first time to the Portland Aquarium Society. Myself, Vicky Toria, Corey of the Aquarium Coop. If you've ever been to the Aquarium Coop, right? That we all drove down there. And we met up with Aqua Pros. If you've ever seen Aqua Pros, you should check out his channel if you haven't. He's got a lot of fun videos on there about fish tankery nonsense also. And Multi-Tank Addiction was there. Savannah Morrow was there, along with Brendan, a couple other people. I met a bunch of people, so it's hard for me to remember everybody's name, and I'm terrible with names anyhow. That's one of the reasons I give the shout-out at the beginning of the show. It's super hard for me to remember anybody's name, but if I start saying it out loud a bunch, I'm like, Kyle Paith, there he is, you know? And I'm like, oh, yeah, my brains. Mr. Potato Bro was there, met up with us, and we also went out to dinner together after. We had a little meet and greet afterwards. And Swift Aquarium was there also. So we actually had... I don't know what their normal turnout is. I'm not sure what their normal turnout is. So a lot of people are asking, did a lot of people show up? I don't know in the terms of like how many people they normally have show up. So you know, it felt like to me like a pretty full room. There was a lot of people there. So first off, Corey did a presentation on a guppy action, right? So he did the presentation on the guppy stuff, and then he and I did the auction at the end, which is a if anybody out there is wondering, it's just a fundraiser auction for the club. So most of the stuff is donated and all those things donated to the club, and then auction off for people that need it, like plants and fish and stuff like that. And then it just basically goes into those guys being able to host more meetings and stuff. So a lot of fun. Corey did most of the talking the whole time there. I didn't really have to talk at all, so I did a little bit of videotaping, and then a little bit of videotaping and a couple other things. Bare Bottom Aquariums is asking how long was the auction. It was, you know, honestly, I think the meeting started at 3, and then I don't think it got done until 6. So I think maybe 5:30, something like that. I don't know, but you know, it's a fish club meeting. It's not work. You know, it's not like a bell rings off like time to start and time to finish. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily follow like a super strict format. It's a fun thing. It's, you know, but it did take us all day to go down there and meet a bunch of people. I think it was definitely worth it. We had a lot of fun going to do it, and you know, we also, as I mentioned, we went out to dinner after the fact, which I think the local restaurant that we went to may or may not have been overwhelmed by, I don't know, being open. I'm not sure. I'll just put it that way. It seemed like it was a bit much for them to handle that they had customers. So, you know, a little weirdness on that end, and some funny intrigue that, you know, like half of our table didn't get their food, and things along those lines. But overall, a great experience. I have to say that their food was good. I had a turkey sandwich, which, I don't know, realistically, having been a chef for a really long time, I don't know how you mess that up, but it was good. So, you know, excuse me while I intake a little bit of coffee from my my fridge coffee that I've been brewing here for a long time. It might be high octane. Who knows? I might freak out halfway through. So we were down there, and so the presentation went pretty well. I did realize that during the presentation, I was like, I'm so used to talking back and forth with Corey. I'm like, there was a couple times where I was just gonna be like, "Oh yeah, man," blah 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 blah, and then I was like, "Whoa, I'm not supposed to talk right now. This is a presentation." So that was a fairly interesting part for me. That I was like, "Oh wait, yeah, oh yeah, I have to shut up. I'm supposed to shut up here." So, but I did get some footage of the trip and of the meeting and stuff. So the people that were unable to make it there, I'll probably post a short video. Speaking of short videos, I'm trying to get more and more short videos out to you guys as best I can. I know that I think the biggest feedback I've gotten from YouTube is like, I don't understand why you keep doing this long format show. And typically my response to that is that I like doing this long format show. This is how I like to have a conversation with people. I do like making short videos, just so that anybody out there is like, you know, always wondering like why I don't make just short videos and I do these long live streams and stuff like that. And I would say that a parallel to that would be, I got a fantastic handwritten note yesterday going analog style, right? Back to the analog days where people would write things down on a piece of paper. Very, very kind words to your humble narrator here. It's hugely appreciative to me that that I do get notes and stuff like that. They're often email format because people don't necessarily get to just walk up and hand stuff to me very often. So it was very nice, and it also contained some of the stuff that I've responded to some people out there that like emails and things that I've gotten. It's like, the reason I do this long format show is because this is how I like to do it. And honestly, somebody sent me an email like a long time ago when I kind of was trying to start doing live streams, probably like 2.5 years ago, something like that. Maybe, I don't know. The timeline's weird. Maybe it was 3 years ago. I don't know. But somebody sent me an email and they were like, dude, that was awesome. Definitely helped me get through my day, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And honestly, that's the kind of stuff that inspires me to keep working and doing these shows and like making the video, putting the video in it, coming on here for 2 hours. Like people are, you know, it's oftentimes one of those things that, like, you know, it's actually quantifiable that I actually am here for like 2 hours. You know, so it, and you know, it's like, this is the show that I want to do. And then those kinds of letters that I get from people and stuff like that are the reason that I keep doing it. And I think Savannah admitted already in the chat that it was from her. It was lovely to meet her. And I don't know who the fella she was with. I have no claim to know that. I was going to say like her guy or something, but I don't know who the guy was, and I didn't actually get a chance to talk to him too much. But yeah, it was Savannah who brought me a fantastic note, and that kind of stuff inspires me to just keep working harder, keep doing this stuff, and I really appreciate it. I don't know how to express my appreciation for that kind of stuff any better than mindlessly rambling on and somehow getting turned around in what I was talking about and then lose track of what was happening. So if this is the kind of show that that brings you some sanity in your day and that kind of stuff, there's so many ways to help support, keep this thing going, and not to turn this into a sales pitch, because I'm not. I just also wanted to express my gratitude to the people on the Patreon who kick in on the Patreon every month. That is crazy. We went up and then we went down, and then now we're back to 273 people, which is insane because I've never even had. I don't even know if there ever was 273 people actually listening to me at one time or not. Unless I was yelling or something, and people are like, "Whoa, what's this maniac doing?" So I expressed the gratitude to those guys and all that kind of stuff. But those handwritten notes, emails, sharing this stuff out to people, all that stuff. I'm hugely. I'm indebted to you guys, and I always on Monday I like to do my gratitude list. I like to write down the stuff that's going on, and it seems like every Monday it's YouTube fans is on there, like you guys watching the show, sharing it out to people, showing up. It's always somebody making that list, and I think that's amazing. I think it's amazing, and it's huge to me, So yeah, just want to say thanks, I guess, and it's stuff like that just really kind of make it a big thing for me, for me. I do realize that a little while ago I got an email from a psychology professor, which is crazy that a psychology professor would even listen to this, and maybe he's filling out a report or something or doing a study. I don't know. But he was he was I'm going to share out some of the stuff that you talk about, to some of the people that he's working with and whatnot. And I'm like, well, I guess that's actually, not only is that totally awesome, but it also kind of makes me feel a little bit weird about the fact that I used to be such a disaster. It's super easy to show somebody oh, here's this whack job from 6 years ago, and then here he is now. But I think also that is I think that also is awesome. I think it's also super awesome. And if it's if whatever I'm doing here is helping you guys out or whatever, then cool, man. At least I'm hitting some kind of where near the mark or whatever. Now maybe it's not on bullseye, but it's on the target or something. It's hitting the target, which is my whole point, I guess. I don't know. I digress. I'm getting a little bit weird right now. Let's see. I want to catch up with the chat a little bit here. 48 tomorrow saying sanity is what we need bad. Just got home from doing tank maintenance on a mixed reef tank. How did I get involved in that, I'm wondering. Hey, if you're off doing maintenance on a mixed reef tank, that sounds like a good day to me. I think that sounds like a good day to me. You know what I mean? That sounds... Yeah, I would do that. And any day of the week. If you got a reef and it's close enough to help you out with it, I'll do my best to try and help you out. If I can, if I got time. Wandering Aquatic says, I didn't know we couldn't collect in Washington until I had a whole tank of little trout. Oh, yeah. Oh, so in the chat right now, Bentley Pascal and a couple of people and Wandering Aquatics and stuff are talking about collecting some wild fish. I would encourage people to collect wild fish if you are somebody that is into taking on that serious responsibility, but always research ahead of time before you start collecting anything, because you could be in the wrong. You could be in the wrong if you are accidentally collecting something that either the state or the Fed or whoever doesn't want you to collect, and could ultimately be a big problem. So I would always check before you go out, like and make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So and also remember, it's the same thing for plants. Oftentimes you can be collecting some plants and then have them in your aquariums or something like that, and you could actually, there's potential that you could get in trouble because you may or may not be disposing of them properly. For instance, I know a lot of people that, like, you know, dump their plant trimmings and stuff like that, like down the toilet. Like, don't do that. Put your plant trimmings and stuff in a compost bin. That's not going to end up in the waterway. You know what I'm saying? I know that a lot of, oftentimes that's one of the big concerns, that a lot of our treatment plants and stuff like that are in cahoots with the you know, like the rangers and stuff. They're trying to figure out, like, oh, what's going on here? We got this in the waterway again. You know, oftentimes it comes from people dumping stuff down the toilet. So try not to do that if you can. It would be doesn't take too much, you know, to not do that. Let's see. Candy Overhauls is over there cooking, and she posted a picture onto the Instagrams, and I realized, like, the Overhaul family is super lucky that I'm not close enough to drive over to their house, because I would have driven over there and eaten all that food and taken and run away. It just looked delicious. But that does remind me that I got to cook for my lady tonight. And speaking of my lady, she managed to come down to Portland with us. And, you know, we spent, as I mentioned on Friday, she was sick. We spent Thursday, she was sick. We spent Friday, she was sick. And Saturday, she was really sick. We ended up going to urgent care. She had to get a shot and a couple other things and get checked out again. And then luckily on Sunday, she was feeling well enough to come on the trek down to Portland. So, you know, I can't tell you guys how regularly I am wildly impressed by my spouse, Vicky Toria. She's not my bride. We cohabitate as partners. Like, I often refer to her as my future bride. But I have to admit, I'm always impressed by just how phenomenal of a person that she is, and just how much you know, how much she puts forth, you know, all the time. So, you know, I do my best to try and, like, accommodate for her, like cooking dinners. That's no big deal for me, man, you know. But it did kind of put me behind my schedule a little bit, mainly because Vicky does a lot of stuff around here, and I had to pick up some of her workload. I didn't even pull it off very well, you guys. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You know, I was like trying to do the laundry and like clean the bathroom and stuff, and do all the things that Vicky normally does, because she was just down for the count. And then I was still trying to fit in my workload, because Saturday she was supposed to go out with the gals and do stuff all day. And I was like, oh, cool, you know. Then I was like, cool, I'm going to rock and roll on this scape and get a ton of stuff done. I'm going to get a ton of filming done. I got a bunch of new stuff to deal with. Excuse me, I was like, I got a bunch of new stuff to deal with. I got a new jib arm for my camera, which, as I mentioned on Friday, is kind of going to definitely get me through until I can get another camera, because the camera saving situation is still slowly but assuredly coming along. I did, I don't know if I hit another mark. on the savings of that or anything, because it's still just doing whatever it's doing. But hopefully, this new jib arm that I can actually move the camera around with, I can position it to get other shots and stuff. So I'm pretty stoked on that, and hopefully it'll get me through, so I don't lose my mind. Because it is always a possibility I could lose my mind at any old given time. You know what I mean? Freak out. I'm not going to do what you think I'm going to do. Adventures in Aquariums is here saying Kentucky has the southern red-belly dace, which is legal, and another dace that just hit as a one-stripe difference, which is illegal to keep. So call fishing game if interested in local species. Perfect. That is a perfect example from Adventures in Aquariums, saying it's pretty much the same fish. One just has a stripe and one doesn't have a stripe, and one's cool to have and one's not cool to have. So yeah, it can be a little bit confusing like that. So yeah, if you are going to go out to do any fish collecting or plant collecting or anything like that, just make sure that you are you're studied up, that you got some reference and stuff that you can get solidified before you go out, so you make sure you're collecting the right thing. The aquarium coop is here. He was here. We went to Portland yesterday. I think we talked about that, though. Mary Beth Mabe, what's up? With 180 people watching and only 86 thumbs up. Oh, my gosh. You guys, it's that thumbs up thing again. I guess it's a thing that I have to talk. I swear, it's like, I'm like, the things I don't like talking about are like self-promotion. I don't like doing that. Unfortunately, it's part of the thing. Like, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, and don't remember to subscribe, and then hit the bell so that the bell is hit, and then everybody will know what's happening when whatever's going on. And it kind of drives me nuts that I have to do that every time, but I'll have to admit, I was listening to a podcast the other day that was like, make sure that you're subscribed to our thing. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm not even subscribed to this thing that I listen to. Oh, I better go over there. And I actually did, like, I actually did subscribe to them. So I realized, like, I don't even like talking about that kind of stuff. I don't like having to talk about the Patreon or any of that kind of stuff. But I do realize that, like, as a person, I even forget about the stuff that I pay attention to. Like, I know the other day, it was kind of funny because I was unsubscribed to somebody, you know what I mean? And I was like, what's going on here? Like, why is it unsubscribed? And I don't know, every once in a while YouTube does something that's totally nonsensical, you know what I mean? And I end up being unsubscribed to things. I was like, dude, I've been watching this forever. How am I unsubscribed? Hold on, I'm just realizing what's going on here. I was wondering why the light in here was super weird, and it's because the light was super weird. I had it pointing the wrong direction. Okay. Just go figure how something stupid is manually moving the light over there. Huh. Go figure. Let's see here. All right. Potato with a $1 super chat. Right into the tip jar. Oh, thank you, my man. And then he says, oh, and then Potato with a $2 super chat, back to back, saying, let's play the color game. Because it goes from dark blue to light blue. Oh, my God. Now Thomas Fahrenbach with the $10 super chat. Okay, what's happening here, you guys? This is crazy. What are we doing? Are we super chatting? This is crazy. All right, well, I'll pop into the super chats here because why not? I don't even know what I was talking about, so I don't think I'm really sending this thing off the rails here or anything. But right before I get into that super chat, I want to say multi-tank addiction says, I have to say, even with my social disorder, it was very easy to talk to Joel, Corey, and Mike. A bit intimidating, but I still managed. Typically, I would have just had a panic attack instead. It was fantastic to meet everybody, and anybody that was nervous about meeting me yesterday, hopefully next time I'm around you or whatever, that you aren't nervous. Just come up, introduce yourself. you know, I know that there were a couple people that were like, I don't know, I don't want to talk to him. I get it. I'm 100% right there with you. And just in the future, next time you can go like, well, I've seen that guy before in person, and now's my shot. So feel free to come up and talk to me. I'm only judgmental if you're super mean and crazy, like in the way of all the mean ways. You know what I mean? Like if you're like a mean, bad person, then I don't want to be around you. But other than that, I'm not a judgmental guy. I know I look like some kind of crazy mad scientist from Germany or something like that, but I am Danish, so that's why I look weird, I guess. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's genetics or something. But feel free to come up and hang out with me, and I am kind of a nutbag, but I'm a fun nutbag, I think. Most of the time, 99%. Every once in a while, I get this look on my face. And people are like, oh, man, I don't want to talk to that guy. He's got resting bitch face. It's just because I have giant eyebrows and I look like a weirdo. And no, I probably never shaved my beard off. I don't think I ever will again. I might. Maybe for like a wedding or something. Who knows? But Thomas Fehrenbach with a $10 super chat. Just wanted to say hi and let you know I put miracle mud in my sump over the weekend, and from what I'm seeing in my corals, by the way, they are looking, and I think it is going to work for me. Okay. So he put miracle mud in his sump, and from the way that the corals are looking, it looks like it's going to work for you. Yeah, man, that is awesome. As we talked about last week, I had problems with miracle mud because I don't know. I don't know why. I really could never really figure out what my big issue with Miracle Mud was, but I just couldn't get it to really follow through in the way that I want. Maybe I'll try it again. Now that I'm older and wiser and older. Not really wiser, maybe just older. Just old and crusty and whatnot. And maybe it just work better for me this time. Like the Krusty Krab from SpongeBob SquarePants, right? But thank you very much, Thomas. I'm glad to hear that the Miracle Mud is working out. I would like to say, hey, keep checking in with me and let me know how it goes. If it's still rocking and rolling like a month down the road or something, maybe I'll go a little bit Miracle Mud myself, if you know what I mean. Maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't know. I'm on the fence right now because last time I had bad luck. Lumpy Dog says, reverse psychology, whatever you do, don't click the thumbs up button and share at your own risk. Thanks, Lumpy. I like it. JH Aquatic says, you sounded like Ronald Jenkins. That's right. Mellow Moogle is there in the chat. I finally got to meet Mellow Moogle in person. She's one of those people behind the scenes here that does a ton of stuff helping out with the channel, along with Dan Squires, CNH Aquatics, Candy Overhauls, Cichlid Bro, who has been a little MIA, probably because there's so much snow up in the mountains. He's pretty occupied by that. Mr. Steven Skoglund himself, the Steven Shrimpy Shrimperton, and Joel Gillett, wherever he is. I haven't seen him today. He's probably sleeping in New Zealand, taking a nap out on some kind of glorious green rolling hills with whatever New Zealand's got going on, hobbits and stuff. Kevin Hayes, also big thank you, and Nisi of the North. Thanks to all the peeps. We also have some other super chats we got to get to. From one from Jack Betts here with the $5 super chat saying, I'm green. I think are we going through all the colors? We're playing the color game today. Because Daryl Dimer with a $20 super chat with no question on it. Just throwing down a $20 super chat. I feel like we should take a moment of silence for the $20 super chat. Thanks, Daryl, man. I appreciate it, bro. That is super generous, man. Thanks. I appreciate it, dude. Alt Night, first day of work in the aquarium for me, and somebody purchased 2 Oscars for a 10-gallon. Oh, man. That's brutal. Gaddis Aquatic says, if I wasn't across the country, I'd love to have shown up. Yeah, it would have been great to be there. Savannah says, my boyfriend kept jabbing my side, telling me to try to talk. He doesn't know anything about aquariums or who was there, but knew how important it was to me, so he pushed me to audibly speak. Oh, that is great, Savannah. Honestly, hopefully I don't know if I'll be at the next meeting or something like that, but I am definitely going to try to make more of the Portland Aquarium Society meetings. So I don't know how often I'll be able to show up there, but I'm going to definitely try to show up there more often. I did miss the Auburn. I know some people are going like, Auburn, what? There's a town in Washington called Auburn. It's not only the college and whatnot, but there's a small town in Washington of probably 100 million thousand people. I don't know how many people live there, but there was a big frag swap of all the plant people here are like, what's that? So little bits and bits and bits of coral, reef keepers and stuff like that will they'll do a meetup, and people will like swap, or they'll sell little bits of coral and that kind of stuff. And those things go on, whenever, but that happens to come around typically when there is okay, so that one happens normally when there's a Portland meeting. So I'm going to try to go between the two and try to go to that one. Bentley Pascal was there. Mr. Steven Scoglin's trying to break the internet here with the $50 super chat. Is this pink or red? I can't tell. Colors aren't really my thing. It's kind of a weird purpley something. It's like a purpley something. I'm not 100% sure what that color would be. Violet, maybe? I think it's violet. I think it's violet. I think. I'm not 100% sure. And he's just, so $50 super chat to discuss about whether or not that's purple or pink or red. It's somewhere in between. It's like, I don't know, violet or something? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. But thanks, Steven. I'm going to put that towards, I don't know, maybe a new fishing rod or something. I don't know. This goes towards the camera, honestly. Everything that's coming in goes towards the new camera, whether it be the Amazon page or any of that stuff. That's my main focus right now, is trying to get a new camera. And I know I'm going to drive everybody nuts talking about trying to get a new camera, but that's my focus. My focus, you guys, my focus is on getting a new camera. Smiley Face Dan with the $5 super chat asking, setting up a 75 with silver tips and apistos. Ooh, maybe some cories too. Would you recommend any other mid-top water centerpiece fish to go with them? Honestly, I would, if I was going to do that setup, I would focus on those three fish, the silver tips, the apistos, and the cories. Because the apistos will kind of mid-range a little bit. Even though they like to stay low, they'll come up, kind of cruise around unless they're being harassed. Like in my 240, they're constantly being harassed by the killies that are in there. And then they'll go back down and like kind of hide out again. But they will kind of roam around more if nobody's messing with them. I think personally, if I was going to go with those three fish, I would focus on those three fish in a 75 like that and try to see how well I could continue the colony, maybe up the colony numbers. As you guys know, I don't like to stock over three fish, mainly because I like to have bigger groups of fish, and so if you had a 75, you could have a really cool group of apistos in there, because maybe if you had like 4 pairs or something like that, they'll probably set up all their little territories, probably do a little bit of breeding, and then with the silver tips, you could just have mass of them in there, and then the cories, you could have them just kind of cruising around doing your cleanup stuff. So personally, that's what I would do. I wouldn't do a centerpiece fish with those guys. I would eliminate one of those groups of fish if I was going to do a centerpiece fish. So hopefully that helps make a decision, but I would up the ante with how many you're getting. That's just basically what I would do with that, because I think that would be a really fun tank with that stocking already. Everybody's making it rain. Everybody's apparently making it rain on Monday. Maybe everybody got their tax returns or something. Mine goes the other way. I have to send the tax check. I have to send a certified tax check. Brandon Cox with the $10 super chat, just because. With the yellow $10 super chat, just because. Multi-Tank Addiction says, oh my God, Super Chat Monday. Apparently it is Super Chat Monday. Thank you very much, you guys. That's pretty wild. It's wild stuff. Oh, Daryl Dimer's Super Chat just disappeared. The timer ran out. But Multi-Tank Addiction with the $5 Super Chat saying, I want to be part of the Super Chat Club too. It's not a bad club to be in as far as I'm concerned. Thank you very much, you guys. Very much appreciate it. It's always wild. It's always wild. You know what? Like even back in the day when I would make a big dinner for somebody and do all that kind of stuff, and somebody would give me a gratuity at the end of it, like I would always be like, "What? What's happening?" And still to this day, I'm like, "What is going on? Like, what is happening?" But thank you very much, everybody. Very much appreciate it. And that's super cool. Super cool, and I never really know what to say. I never know what to say, because I don't know. I'm one of those people that's just like, now I don't know what to do. Meow. Donald Vibes Ed was asking, Corvus, you guys are my inspiration. I did my first vocal video today, amateur hour, but I'm stoked. All right, Donald's Fish Vibes, that is awesome. I'm glad to hear that, dude. I love hearing that there are new channels out there. I know that I probably have some shout outs to do on Friday with some new channels that have come up. I will see. I know that I saw Guppy's Fish Room in here. He's one that I love to give shout outs to, because that guy is so talented, young man out there, wherever he is in the middle of the world, we'll just say. That's one I love giving a shout out to. But Donald, feel free to email me a link. If anybody has any new YouTube videos, or maybe you're doing a new channel or any of that kind of stuff, you can always email me at joel@darkstararts.com. You can just email me the link. I would really appreciate it. It's one of the few rules that we have here, like in the chat, is to not spam out that you like have a new video or something like that. But if you send me the link, I'm happy to check them out, give you a little bit of feedback, let you know what's going on when I get time. Bear in mind, it's when I get time. I have to have the time to do it, and often I have other. It's not more important. I just have other things that are ahead of it. So feel free to send me links if you got new stuff coming in and stuff like that. Maybe you were like me and you had just a little tiny channel forever, and now you're going like, I'm getting back into it. I've got 30 new videos up over the last 3 months, and I'm just really sticking to it. And sometimes people out there are like, I don't understand how, if there's a vetting process for me, like this is kind of how I do it. A lot of people are just starting out, and they'll send me something, and then they'll go like, why didn't you give me a shout out? And I was like, well, you've got 2 videos up, which is great. I want you to keep doing them. I want you to keep doing stuff. And then once you get to a point where if I was to send over a whole bunch of people, and you only have 1 video over there, it might not work very well. You know what I mean? So, but like one of the channels that I did shout out just a little while ago, and I can't remember his channel. I want to look it up real quick here. Where did it go? It's Alex's channel, but it's not. Oh man, where did it go? Trying to look through my email while I'm live. I probably should have been ready with this, but well, wherever Alex is, his channel, and I gave a shout out for that. Sent over a bunch of people because he'd already put up like 5 videos, so that kind of thing. So I would never want to send a bunch of people over somewhere and go like, well, there isn't really anything here. So that's one of those things, and also, you know, if somebody's only done 1 or 2 videos, it's like I don't know if they're gonna keep doing it or not. You know what I mean? So that's part of it too, is that I just want to make sure that people are gonna keep doing it and stuff like that. But Donald's Fish Vibes, like, Ed has been around here a long time. I look forward to getting to take a look at hearing some talking. You know, hear a video with some talking, and I'm interested in that. So like, yeah, here's a let me run over to his channel here. Oh, I hit the subscribe button. I'm subscribed. So yeah, it's like Donald's Fish Vibes. Ed would be a great example right here. Is that like he has been posting videos for over 3 months now. So not a ton of views or anything like that, and maybe they're just kind of looking around at what's going on, just giving people an idea of what's happening. But he would be a good example of a channel. It's like, yeah, I've been putting them up, and I'm like new, I'm getting new into this, and I'm working my way into it. Like, that would be a perfect example of somebody that I would be like, dude, check it out. Let's encourage this guy a little bit. Let's send the army over. But Guppy's Fish Room is also a great example that it's like, we got a young kid who's like working on something. He's working on this project. Let's head over and check him out. You know, that's why we did that. We did that a couple Fridays ago. I think it wasn't last Friday. It was the Friday before. We went over there and raged into his, what do you call it? Raided into his live stream in a good way. Whew. All right. Guppy's Fish Room is asking, Joel, can you link the microphone, boom, and microphone? Guppy, you can, I can't link it right now. At some point, I could send you a link if you want. It's a $400 microphone. And this boom arm is $100. There are much more affordable ways to go about miking yourself than this. And also, the converter over there was $200. So oftentimes people are like, I don't understand what goes into the production. It's crazy, but I could just walk around and like point at stuff and tell you how much it is, and then people would be like, oh, that's where it goes. Yeah. So. Yeah, Kurosh is Guppy's Fish Room. He's a great guy. I met his mom and him while we were at the Aquatic Experience. He also did a really cool Aquascaped there. I look forward to guys like that are like, I don't know how old Kurosh is, maybe 13, 14, I don't know. But seeing where he's going in the future, like see him 10 years from now, like, whoa, buddy. Hey, I'm going to be like, slow it down, Chief. Old guy over here is trying to make something cool, and you're making me look like bad. So, yeah, that's what that's all about. But we are coming up at the 4 o'clock hour here, which means... video time. Yeah, it's video time. Video time. I kind of get nerdy here at the beginning. I'm kind of nerding out with the rock shot here. Oh my God, Seiryu Stone. Slow-mo with Seiryu Stone. Oh my gosh, it's 150 gallons of shrimp. 150 gallons of shrimp. This aquarium always freaks people out because they're like, you have a 150-gallon aquarium with just shrimp in it? And 2 guppies, bro. 2 guppies, bro. You know what I'm saying? 2 guppies. 1 male, 1 female. 2. 1, 2. Check. 1, 2 guppies. You know what I'm saying? It's got a bunch of shrimps, a bunch of snails, and 2 guppies. Because for some reason, I don't know, I let Corey finagle me into starting out a guppy colony with just 2 guppies. And I don't know how I got finagled into that because we were at the Portland Aquarium Society yesterday, and there was guppies for sale, and there was 10, and they went for $6, and I could have gone $7 and gotten 10 more guppies that were tank raised. They looked awesome. I couldn't even tell you what kind they were, but they were orange colored with a blue stripe on them, and I don't know, I think they're maybe Lazarus or something. There's some kind of goofy name for them, but they were awesome, and I could have got them, but some reason I'm starting out my colony with 2 fish. And this will probably make me sound like a crazy person and not a kind person, even though I am. I had this fleeting thought the other day that, like, maybe if the female, like, jumped out of the tank, then I could be like, oh, well, I have to get more guppies. But there's no way that I would ever encourage that kind of behavior. It was a weird thought, you guys. I'm a human. Sometimes weird stuff goes through my brain, you know, and I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of that thought. I was being selfish, and I wanted to get more guppies for my aquarium because I like lots of guppies, and I think they're awesome. And yet, I only have 2. Which is okay. It's okay, guys. It's part of the dealing process. Like, I have to cope with the fact that I'm going to have to raise them from 2, you know. But we're going to get there. And I'm freaking out why the female has not given birth yet, because she is so fat and so pregnant, and she should just have a whole ton of babies. Like, it would be awesome. And then I would be stoked. KG says I need to put those 2 guppies in a 10-gallon. I might have to. I might just have to. But as you guys know, this 150 is actually slated to have some kind of fancy shrimp in it. I don't know yet what shrimp is going to go in it. A lot of people have been mentioning this shrimp painting back here and how much they like this shrimp painting. I like this shrimp painting too, and it is nearing completion. I'm down to the pretty easy parts here. The fun part that I like, which is all the fine detail. Don't ask me why I like doing the fine detail. I like doing the fine detail. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. But that one's almost done, and people have expressed interest in being able to get a copy for that. There is a fish YouTuber, a fish tuber? No, shrimp tuber out there. I bet you guys can guess who he is. That's where this is going to go. And he will probably be doing prints of this. Supposedly. Supposedly. We're going to see if he can do it or not. But that's where the plan for this painting is supposed to go somewhere, where some guy is probably going to do prints for that you'll be able to order at a much lower price tag than an original piece, if you know what I'm saying. So, hopefully will be in conjunction with whatever shrimp are going to go in here at whatever point in time. So, the guppies that are in here, I'm going to be moving them. And I'm not sure yet where I'm going to be moving them. But in the meantime, actually, this aquarium is pretty much set up for them to just hang out with these shrimp and just have a good time growing and essentially setting up this aquarium so that it's nice and like broken in. You know what I mean? Matured, if that's a better word than broken in. It's not an old boot. It doesn't need to be broken in. It just needs to mature and do its thing. So that's the reason for its inhabitants. That's the whole reason that they're there. Some of them will be shipped out in the mail at some point in time, and then we'll be figuring that out. Donald's Fish Vibe says, I really admire those planted tanks. Oh, I'm really digging this tank, you guys. I can't tell you how excited I am to finally get some Seiryu Stone in here. I'm not going to say that this is a dream tank, but this is getting really close to... this is getting really close to... this is getting really close to a dream tank, realistically. It's getting there. Let's see here. Justin Leveling. With the $5 super chat. Ha, I bet you thought I was frozen. I have a 2-month-old 29-gallon planted tank, and I'm having brownish algae on the substrate, plants, hardscape. Please help me out. My parameters seem fine. It's a high-tech tank. Okay. A 2-month-old 29-gallon planted tank, which, first of all, I would ask if it actually is cycled yet. Did you start out without any kind of cycle? Because if you started out without any kind of cycle, sort of the funny thing is that I seed my cycle, right? And I'll get diatoms within the first week to 2 weeks. And the brownish algae stuff is typically diatoms, and I'll run through them in the first week or two. Because I actually seed my aquarium with beneficial bacteria ahead of time from my other cycled aquariums. And I'll run through that diatom period. But if you kind of started out from scratch and didn't seed the bacteria, typically you'll see that diatom coming in around the 6 weeks to 8 weeks mark. So it sounds like you're probably running through all of your excess silicates now that the cycle's probably going. That would be the thing that I would say is why you've probably got that going on at this point. So I would check your cycle, and if you just hit your cycle, that's probably why the diatom is happening now, because it's starting to run through the silicates and run those through pretty quickly. So that's what I would be looking at if you did have that brown algae coming in a planted tank at this point. Hopefully that answered, and maybe you'll bust into the chat here with a couple more things that you know could have going here. All right. Oh my gosh, guys, we got a patronizer during the show from Leslie. Well, thank you very much, Leslie. I appreciate it. Oh, and we got an email. Oh my gosh, guys, we got an email. But I'm not going to answer it now. I'm going to answer it later. But it is from a fellow YouTuber asking for some constructive criticism. And I love constructive criticism personally. I know about a month ago, I got a beautifully written letter as to some of the concerns that I may or may not have been addressing, some concerns that people had, and it was fantastic. It definitely opened a dialogue. We kind of talked back and forth, and I think we found a middle ground. Like, I love that. I love that kind of stuff. Oftentimes, you guys will see on the internet, and I mean, you see it from time to time on my channel. I normally just blast them and get rid of them. But you'll see, oftentimes, you guys will see some nasty comments from people. It's just such a waste of time. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a waste of time. But I do like well-written emails and stuff like that. I definitely dig that kind of stuff. It's very cool. And yeah, so if anybody's needing a little bit of help with their channel, I'm more than happy to give you a little bit of constructive criticism. As I said, the easiest way to do that would be to email me, joel@darkstararts.com. That pops up in the chat every once in a while. The moderators are super good at it. If you really need it, you can just start yelling, "Moderator, I need email. I don't know what Patreon is." But man, I know that Kyle Paith was asking me the other day, what happened with the Patreon video? Because typically in the middle of the screen here, just under the patreon.com, right, it normally plays the people's names from the Patreon supporters, and I honestly don't know what happened to that video. I edited a new one together, and then I lost the file. Like, I just don't... I don't know where it is. I can't find it. And XSplit can't find it either. So between me and the robots, I don't know where it went. So I have to make a new one again. And I realistically, when I started out going like, yeah, I'm going to make that video segment, it's like, I think we had like 30 Patreons or something like that. So it actually wasn't that hard to make it. It probably only took like, I don't know, 20 minutes or something to make it, but now there's 270 or something. So I'm trying to figure something out, how to do this a better way than I've been doing it. So maybe it's a godsend that it got lost, but I don't know where it went. I just cannot find it. John Gonzalez says he wants the shrimp painting behind me. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, there will probably be an opportunity for people to buy a print of this at some point in time. This is somebody else's object. They will own it, and hopefully they're going to make prints of it. I don't know. But let's go to the whiteboard. We got to enable the whiteboard so we can answer a couple of the questions here from the chat. And where did my chat go? There it is. Yeah, there it is. Secret History in living in your aquariums asking what software are you running with this screen with? This is XSplit is the broadcaster I use here. The Pro version costs like $29 a month or $29 every 2 months. Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. You know, something like that. Let's see. Terrible JB, what's up, my man? I've noticed people like to downvote a lot, like your video about someone selling pumice and not disclosing it. Oh, yeah, terrible. The JB. Yeah, people downvote my stuff all the time, and that's fine. It's you know, here's the thing to the haters out there that definitely aren't going to be watching the show an hour in. To all the haters out there, when you go click the dislike button, it's just the same as hitting the like button. I'd like you all to know that. If, as far as YouTube is concerned, as far as the Skynet algorithm that operates YouTube, it is just as good to have the dislike button clicked as it is to have the like button clicked. Lots of people out there made a ton of money from getting millions of downvotes, getting thumbs downs. So if you feel like you're hating on someone's channel, the best thing that you could do is not watch it and do not interact with it. That is the best thing that you could do, you guys. Since we know everybody in the chat here, all 216 of you, is all the good people that are going to hear the message, just remember, hitting the dislike will push whatever video you disliked up because people are interacting with it. The robot doesn't care. The robot just goes, oh, people do stuff when this video is playing. So, yeah, hopefully I answered some of those questions. I know some people were asking about the tank, and I want to answer some of those questions for sure. Woo. Let's see. Every saltwater tank I ever had started with diatoms, but never had it in freshwater. I get it quite a bit in freshwater from time to time, Ed. It does... It's not always, though. It's not always in freshwater. It's for sure in saltwater. You're definitely going to get it. KG Ciclet says, do you let the diatom algae do its thing, or do you wipe it all off after a couple of weeks? Typically, I normally let diatoms do its own thing, because it's normally gone before even a couple weeks comes by. you know, if I do get it, it's not always that I do get diatoms, but it's fairly often that I'll get it on a new tank. If I'm starting out, if I'm just like starting out a tank from scratch without seeding bacteria, I'll normally run into the diatoms. But you know, I just let it do its thing because it's normally gone in such a short period of time that it doesn't bother me that much. Secret History is asking, how long do you wait to add shrimp, sensitive creatures? Also, if you got ick, how would you treat such a nice scape? By removing the fish? I would wait to add shrimp until the tank is cycled, and just make sure that it's a stable tank so that you're getting, you know, pretty steady pH readings out of it and stuff like that. If I had ick in this scape, I would run it up to 94 degrees and add salt into the sump until ick was treated through, run it through, and then do water changes after the fact. That would be the easiest thing to do with it. You know, it's one of those things that, like, people often ask me, like, wouldn't ICX be a better treatment? Technically, yes, but oftentimes this is almost 200 gallons of water. So I can definitely run through a lot of ICX if I did have an outbreak. It is pretty rare that I do because I quarantine most of my stuff, or I have a store quarantine for me. It's pretty rare that that I would have something like that, but yes, I would treat the whole tank, mainly because you know, there's a possibility I'm not noticing some of the ick sometimes within the tank. Basically, it's like there might be a fish that I'm like, oh, you look fine, can't see you with my eyeballs, you know what I mean? So I would definitely treat the whole tank, and I use salt because it's much easier. A, for me to get a hold of because I always have it, and B, it's much cheaper. It's much more affordable, and temperature is just a matter of like changing the knob. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Let's see here. Jen Standring. Cool. My nerites only eat the dead oak leaves I put in there and leave my live plants alone. Typically, yes. Ram's horns and nerites will, those two, and Malaysian trumpet snails, they generally do not eat live plant material. They generally only want to eat dead plant material. Maybe it's because they're lazy and they don't want to try to break down anything that's already live, and they just like to wait till it's dead and then go for that. I don't know. I've never talked to a snail before. Well, I've talked to snails before, but they've never responded, so that would be the caveat there. But I don't know what their thought process is. I think it's probably just a little bit easier. Mass Aquariums is here. Says, what up, Joel? Just watched your hole drilling video from 5 years ago. Nice hair. That's right. I got nice hair then. I got nice hair now. You know what I'm talking about, my boy. Oh, man, it was so great to meet Mass Aquariums finally in person out in the old Aquatic Experience. If you guys have never been to the Aquatic Experience, I don't have anything to do with it except I'm going to go again this year. I'd recommend it. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. And hopefully this next year when we go, I'll be able to, I don't know, get invited to the movie, you guys. These guys went and saw Transformers without me. You know what I mean? They saw Transformers without me. And look, it's not like that was going to be a real tearjerker or anything. It was stuff was going to explode, robots were going to yell at each other, and there was going to be sword fights and stuff. And how awesome is that to be able to get to see on the big screen? I had to wait for it to come out on like Amazon or whatever and watch it on my screen here. Uncool. You know what I mean? But the Aquatic Experience is in New Jersey, as JH Aquatics is saying right there. It's in New Jersey this year. Yeah, and I hope, which is going to be dope. I'm going to be able to see Mass Aquariums there again. If you haven't checked out my aquarium box from those guys, that's the thing that that's the thing that Mass Aquariums is involved in. They do all that. I think they send it all out from his basement, which is pretty cool, you know. But definitely check out those guys if a subscription-based thing like that is something that you're totally into. I'd go for it. Mass Aquariums, I went and had a steak and then skipped the movie. Yeah, I had the steak too, and then it was like, I think it was like me and Gone Mad and Iris were like, oh, we gotta go. Let's go home and go sleep. It's a long day. Realistically, I think I was invited. I was tired. I'm just giving him a hard time. You know, it's Corey. I got to give Corey a hard time, man. I can't just let him be roaming about, not having a hard time. It seems like nobody's asking any questions for this, so I'm going to turn off the whiteboard, and we're going to turn the video back on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's moving the camera around. He's taking a look. Oh, there we go. There's the overview. So, full disclosure, in the video here, I'm done with half. Half? Do I even want to say half? It's probably half. Half of the 150. Getting the whole thing redone. Oh, no, that's right, Candy. They saw Thor. That's what they saw. They didn't see Transformers. They saw Thor, and I wasn't allowed to see Thor until I got back. That's what it was. Had a brain fart. Totally forgot. I couldn't go see Thor because Vicky and I had a date for going to see Thor when I got back. That's what it was. And plus, we wanted to go to sleep, too. It was a long day. I probably would have fallen asleep at the movie or something. Wandering Aquatics is asking, is it only cherry shrimp in there currently? I went over this earlier, but I'm going to go over it again. There's a lot of snails, a lot of shrimp, and count them, 1, 2 guppies. It's the beginning of the guppy, the beginning of the guppy breeding brigade. You know what I mean? Them's guppies is going to be the start of my colony, and I will be able to say those 2 guppies were the ones that started it. And, you know, realistically, I think like 6 months or something down the road, it won't be that big of a deal if I do add some guppies by then. You know, because at least I could go, yeah, I did it for a long time-ish, sort of. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Barbara Jackson is here. She says the last Thor was pretty good. I thought it was great. I thought that was a great movie. I thought it was fantastic. Freshman Aquatic says, I'm going to the aquatic experience since I live in Connecticut. Wasn't able to go to the Chicago because I'm only 13, so I couldn't fly out there. Right on. Understandable. Hopefully this year you'll be able to make it out. I don't know what anybody is going to have this year. I haven't heard from anybody that's been like, I'm going to have robots that I'm going to bring or something. I don't know. Last year, Corey was giving out shirts amongst, you know, the My Aquarium Box guys were selling some cholla wood and some other things. And I know I'm going to forget a million people, but whatever. It's not a personal affront to anybody, but I know that Flip Aquatics was there. Bob was there. Steen Foots. There was a lot of people there. JH Aquatics was there. There was a lot of people there, so it was pretty fun. But you know, let's see. Randy Hightower says, if you ever do a cave and get more guppies, if you ever do cave and get more guppies, I vote some from Guppy Train. He's got some new koi guppies that are amazing. Ooh, I definitely have to check those out. I think if I was going to get guppies, I would probably go with Kang Lee. Kang Lee would probably be the guy I would go for. If I was going to get guppies, because I'm not saying he's the guppy master, but A, he's a super awesome dude. B, his YouTube channel is awesome. And C, they have tons and tons of guppies. I think Twin City Guppies is what it's called. Their company. That's where I would probably go if I was going to get some specific guppies. Not saying anybody else is worse or anybody's better. That's probably where I would have gone, because I actually got to meet Kang Lee, and man, what a nice guy. What a super stellar dude. And so I think that's probably where I would put my money right now, just because of, you know, I don't know, it just seems like that's what I would do, I guess. Oh, Joel Gillett's here. I gave him a shout out earlier, and he wasn't here. Turbofish says Kangley's a great person, and his wife was also a perfect person. Yep, they were both super awesome. Had a great time with them. Candy Overalls is asking, oh my god, did you see Kangley's Last Guppies? Yes, I tried to just watch that on my phone so I wasn't in complete and utter drool mode and freaking out. So, because I only have my 2 guppies and I have to stick to my 2 guppy thing in the meantime. Mellow Moogle has a link there for Twin City Guppies. Perfect. There you go. And if you guys like their, if you like Twin Cities art, Priscilla MK is who did that art there. So if you are looking for something like that, go to Priscilla MK, and she'll make you logos and stuff like that. She posted a cherry shrimp today that she did, and I'm kind of pissed off because it looks awesome. And, you know, I'm kind of a dingleberry like that I go like, man, her cherry shrimp looks better than my cherry shrimp. It's been a long time since I made a cherry shrimp, though, so needless to say, it's okay. Just different styles. But I see somebody else's style. I'm like, dude, that's so much better. But hers is pretty awesome. But if you are looking for something like that, I would definitely go check that out. Miss Lininator is asking, Twin City Guppies, is that what I said? Yeah. Mellow Moogle posted a link into the chat, so you can actually click on that, and it'll take you over to their site, I think. Yeah. Yep, that's it. Mellow Moogle posted the Priscilla link also, and so did Candy. Nice. You guys are on the ball today. Let's see. Barbara Jackson's asking, how long does the fuzzy white fungus persist on driftwood, especially if there will not be any autos or plecos? Typically, I'll use a paintbrush, like a wide old paintbrush. I have a bunch of them for just aquarium use. And for aquarium use, and I take those, and I brush it off, and then I just let it go down into my sump. But you can actually just, when you're doing a water change, you can take like your python or whatever you do to suck water out for your python, or through your water change, like a python, and you actually just suck it off. That sounds ridiculous, what I just said, but you can just suck it off of the driftwood and get rid of it that way. That's the easiest way to do it. But that's how I've always done it. I'll just wipe it off with a paintbrush or something like that. Let's see. Wild Nature asks, yeah, Twin Cities represent. Come to Minnesota Aquarium Society and do a talk. I would love to. Have them hit me up. Typically, if you guys have like a local aquarium society or something like that, you could definitely put in and tell them to either get a hold of me or get a hold of Corey or anybody like that, and we'll definitely, you know, figure something out. Definitely talk to whoever your president is or stuff like that. Savannah Morrow says, I use paintbrushes to remove film or buildup from decor and other things. Works fabulously. Yeah, that's the same thing for me. That's how I do it. I use a paintbrush. Like I just use like a 1-inch wide chisel tip paintbrush. Works pretty good. Let's see. KG says, I thought about borrowing my daughter's paintbrushes to wipe off the wood mulm on the Java moss. Yeah, I normally just... I typically just, what's the word? I normally just wipe the fungus off. It's just not super difficult to get off or anything like that. So it's, I normally just wipe it off. It's pretty easy. Uh-oh, Lisa Aqua Love has got to go. We'll see you later. We're going to finish out the show strong here. We got another half an hour, which means I got to drink a little coffee here, you guys. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here with this aquarium. I think most people could probably pick out most of the plants in here. Most of them aren't super ridiculously confusing. That's some of that longleaf Java fern that I actually got from the Aquarium Co-op. Oh, and speaking of that, I put a link to the Aquarium Co-op underneath in the videos. So if you guys want to go through that link to get to the Aquarium Co-op, it's basically like a competition right now. There's a slight little bit of competition, a lighthearted competition, that if you guys are going to order anything from Aquarium Co-op, to go through, you know, my hot link, and then it'll send you straight to the Aquarium Co-op page, and then you just order whatever you want, and then it'll just be like, oh, Corvus referred you. Ha 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 ha. Take that, Aqua Pros. Take that, Aqua Pros. Shakespeare. I call him Shakespeare now. I'm just going to call him Shakespeare all the time. Chicken Lips 2, says Rob at Flip Aquatics, says that shrimp love that wood fungus. Yes, they do. But the question was whether if you didn't have autos or anything like that, autos or shrimp, how are you going to get rid of it? And so manual removal is going to be the best way to do it. But yeah, shrimp is the easiest way to do it. Just throw some shrimp in there and they'll eat it. Fish will eat it too. A lot of fish will actually munch on it. I know that the killifish will munch on it, that's for sure. Because they're rude. You know, they're rude little buggers. Gaddis Aquatics is asking, Ed Joel, is that needle leaf in the back? Actually, you know, it's sort of like long leaf. It's not wide, and it's not super skinny, but it is long. It's really tall, and it definitely has sent out a lot of baby plantlets, which I'm going to tell you guys, like, when Java fern replicates, it's the cutest thing you've ever seen out of a plant. You know what I mean? It sends out all these little baby plants off the ends of its little finger leaves, and it is so cute. It's mind-bending. You know what I mean? So cool. So I love Java fern for filling out stuff in the back. Between Java fern, large Anubias, and Bulbitis, between those three plants, like, filling out the back areas of tanks and stuff like that just becomes super easy. It's like, oh, let me plug and play some of these items here. One thing I wanted to point out, that you guys will notice that some of my driftwood is attached to that big base, which I made a YouTube video about that a couple of times, how I make the driftwood display bases and then put the driftwood onto them. Some of them aren't attached at all, and that actually just makes it a lot easier to reposition things, rescape stuff if I want to move things around, so that some of it is firmly implanted in a base and then some of it isn't, so that I can kind of do different things with stuff and change things around whenever I feel like it. So not everything is solidly put in here, but, you know, essentially those big driftwood bases give me a good, you know, a good canvas to work off of, because it's an area where things are going to be put together. Honestly, I'm pretty enthusiastic. I'm worried that I might have, like, too much Anubias going on here on the left-hand side, but I am just trying to... I'm not necessarily trying to pack everything into the left-hand side, but that's just sort of what's happening. It's sort of turning into a big old Anubias forest, because I realize I have a lot of Nana Petite right now, and so I might as well just keep packing it in and putting it over there and just filling out the green and letting it fill in, because it seems a little bit ridiculous to not do it, to not use it, you know, so I'm just going to keep using it. It's coming together pretty well. Overall, once this tank is done, I'm going to be freaking out, you guys. I might try to do a backflip and hurt myself, but kind of freaking out a little bit. I'm pretty enthusiastic about what direction this is going, and I'm pretty zazzed. You guys. Honestly, these Seiryu Stones are marvelous. They're beautiful. They're unbelievable. If you want specifically some of them that are almost exactly the same as the ones I got here from the Aquarium Co-op, that's where I got them from. I got them from Corey down at the Co-op. And those guys do ship them. Apparently, you know, I found that out when I was down there getting them, that they do actually pack them into boxes and ship them out. So if you realistically want to be like all gangster like that. You can actually get the exact same stuff. So, Donald Fish Vibes is asking, does this tank have CO2? Yep, I run CO2 on most of my Planet aquariums. I actually run it into the sump, into a reactor, so that it can be nicely immersed into the water column, and I find that to be the best way to do it. Wet Sleeves is asking, hey Joel, have you ever had a plant you just couldn't get to grow? Yeah, there actually is one that I've always been a pain in the buns for me, which is Monte Carlo, which is super easy for a lot of people out there, but me, yeah, good luck. Good luck, me. So, you know, I've always had problems with Monte Carlo for whatever reason. I don't know why. That's the one that is always a big pain in the buns for me is Monte Carlo. So, but I know a lot of people just grow that stuff like crazy and don't have any problems with it. Let me think of any other plants. Vesuvius would be one that I always have a problem with. I always have a problem with what's the word? The Vesuvius. I always have a problem with that one, trying to get it to propagate and do that kind of stuff. But it actually works out a little bit better for Victoria when she was growing some back in the day. And sometimes that can be a problem plant for me, but trying to think of any other Styrgene repens. I normally have problem with that. I have to remember to dose a little extra calcium and stuff like that for Styrgene, but that's a pretty simple solution. So I figured out the Achilles heel on that one a while back, and actually coming along quite well. DMC of the Sea saying, I got some cherry shrimp on Saturday. So far, they're doing pretty well in the quarantine. I think I might have caught the shrimp bug. If I can do well with the cherries, would blue neos be just as easy? Yes, that would be the direction that I would go. From cherries to blue Neocaridinus. That's where I would go next. They're a little more fragile, but between the two groups, like if you had red cherries and blue cherries, you could work on breeding the two different colonies and work on your lines a little bit as you're like breeding them and getting used to taking care of them and stuff like that. I always recommend any kind of Neocaridinus for people to start out with. It's definitely the shrimp, the freshwater shrimp that you want to start with, and not crystal shrimps, or there are some tigers out there that you could start out with, but cherry shrimps are pretty much the most readily available ones that most people can get, and that's where I would say start out at for sure. Chicken Lips 2 with the 555 super chat, which is awesome. Thanks for the info and entertainment, Joel. You're very welcome, Chicken Lips. A lot of people super chat today, and it's kind of wild, man. I don't ever know what to say, but you're welcome. You're welcome for the info and the entertainment. I try to, I try to keep it as, try to keep it as good as I can. You know what I mean? Bentley Pascal is saying, I also can't get Monte Carlo to work for me. Stuff hates me. Yeah, it has something to do with our water here, and I haven't narrowed down exactly what it is, but I definitely started using a little bit of the Easy Green from Aquarium Co-op, and I'm going to give that a try and see if that's throwing in whatever is missing. And if yes, then I'll give that recommendation to people. If no, then I will tell them, if you're trying to grow Monte Carlo in our area, Bentley, then that's not the thing that's needed. But I'll figure it out one way or another. It's just slow growing. You know what I mean? DR guy is asking, what kind of lighting do you have to create that dark with spotlight effect? I'm actually using the Fluval Fresh and Plant 2.0, which I did an unboxing of a little while ago, and I do have some Fluval video stuff coming up here fairly soon. It'll be like hashtag Fluval tripping, and maybe they'll figure out it's me someday. Maybe someday they'll figure out it's me telling them that flue ball's tripping all the time. You know? But that's actually the light that is on here. The spotlight and dimming effect actually is part of just manually covering up portions of the light, realistically. Nothing too crazy with that. Just some duct tape or something, you know, something that's going to cover it up. Let's see. I think with all the snails have eaten mine. Oh. The 3 times I've gotten Anubias Cafolia, it just melts all the way down to mush. It sucks. Ooh, I've never seen Cafolia, like, really do that. Personally, Cafolia, for me, has been super hardy. I've never seen... but it is possible that you could have gotten some of the Anubias rot disease that is out there, and still, nobody knows what to do other than cut off the infected part and hope that it doesn't melt away. But that almost just seems like hardly good advice, where you're like, just amputate it and hope it's okay, you know. But that seems to be the pretty much only advice that anybody out there has come up with yet. Let's see here. Oh, Bracken Ward. Or just plain old Bracken. Sorry, plain old Bracken. With the $5.55 super chat. Everybody knows that's my favorite number, the 555. Surprises! What could make Anubias Cafolia melt to mush? Tried hard. Oh, I was actually answering your question before you put it in there, and then you super chatted. So I was actually saying this. So let's go back to what I was saying. I've personally never had Cafolia melt. I found it to be super hardy. I remember at one point in time I actually converted it to be a potted plant at one point in time, just quite a long time ago. I don't really know when. I think I grew it up above the water line in like a paludarium or something like that, and then eventually like put it in a pot so I could just hey buddy, potted plant, you know. But if it is melting off like that, chances are, if you got it, you put it in, you probably got the Anubias disease that's been going around for probably the last 1.5 years, 2 years or something like that. And it has been going around, and like I said, amputating seems to be the only thing that people can come up with as a air quote cure. Hold on, guys, my phone's ringing. And which doesn't seem like great advice, but it seems to be the only thing that any of the nurseries or wholesalers or anybody has been able to come up with, is just cut off the infected area. People have been trying all sorts of dips and stuff, and coming up with nothing. They just basically been just coming up, grasping for air, you know, and they haven't been able to find any kind of solution that really just cures it up. So I think it's unfortunate that that's going around. It probably is something that's being transmuted from, you know, from those nurseries, from it being grown emergent, and then you put it underwater, and then it really kicks in to overdrive and ends up killing it off. It sucks, but it's been going around. If you did get it from somewhere, I would let them know that that's what happened, and that might be a lot of the story that they've been getting from a lot of people. So maybe they'll make it up for you. Maybe they'll make it up and be like, "Oh yeah, bring it in, and we'll get you a new one or something." I don't know. Let's see. Soggy Pits is asking, Joel, what can I do to get rid of hair algae in my daughter's planted turtle tank? Ooh. Typically, hair algae is going to show up in a turtle tank, mainly because turtles are kind of sloppy eaters and a little bit dirty. They're a little bit dirty in their water, you know what I mean? They're a little big. They're a little mammal, or no, it's not. They're not mammals. They're a little bit mammal-ish in the fact that they're like blunk, right? So they do poop a little bit and make a little bit more of a mess, sort of like a mammal in that way, that they will kind of mess up the water column. So I would up the frequency of the water changes that you can get done in there, possibly something to kind of sop up the ammonia in the filter. And one of the big things that I would say is that you're going to have to manually remove that hair algae that's there. Well, hold on a second. All right, I'm back. I had to fix my pants. They were all bunching up. Sorry. But with that hair algae, you're actually going to have to manually remove it. Now, the easiest trick that I know how to do it is either some planting tongs, kind of twirl it around, pull it out, and you can get it out that way. Then whatever's left, you're going to have to take an old toothbrush, or preferably a new toothbrush that has never had toothpaste on it. Then go ahead and use that to scrape off the rest. And you can actually, even if it's still long and you use that toothbrush, you can grab it sort of with the bristles, and they'll get popped right in there, and then whoosh, you can start pulling it all out. The best tool I know is a brand new toothbrush that typically is the one that, like, the dentist gave me last. You know what I mean? Rory popping up in the chat asking, what's my favorite pH? My favorite pH is stable pH is my favorite pH. I couldn't... But realistically, I would say if I had to pick a favorite pH, I would say 6.7 would be my favorite. Mainly because almost every plant will grow at 6.7 pretty darn well. So if I had to pick a favorite, I would go with that. 6.7, 6.8, maybe. Kind of a toss-up. Gone Mad says, treat hair algae like a plate of spaghetti. Yep, that is great advice. I actually used to use these old chopsticks, those wooden chopsticks. And wire it out too. That actually works pretty darn good. Wandering Aquatics needs help with blackbeard algae, a little BBA action. You get a bunch of pandagarras. I can't wait to get my pandagarras, you guys. Have I been talking about pandagarras? Have you guys heard about pandagarras from me? Right? Yeah, I can't wait to get some pandagarras for sure. But blackbeard algae is actually pretty easy because Flourish XL actually has glutahudaride. I'm making fun of the name of it. But Flourish XL, the CO2 supplement, actually has the algicide in it that will kill off BBA. You have to do a triple dose every day for like 4 days or something like that. It'll turn red, then it'll die off and turn gray and go away. That'd be the best way to do it. Wandering Aquatics is asking, are pandagarras safe with shrimp? As far as I know. Wild Nature says pandagarras did nothing for me, except be awesome. Yeah, I don't ever buy, personally, I don't ever buy anything to clean up my algae problems. That is a huge, I wouldn't say that it's like a fish tank myth, but it's like, you know, people buy a bunch of autosinkless to get rid of a ton of algae in their aquarium, and you're like, dude, these are tiny little fish that can't do what you're hoping for them to do. So one of the big things I always recommend to people, that if you are having algae issues, you or me, if let's say I was having algae issues, if I was going to give myself advice, I would say that's my job to fix that, because I'm way more proactive. I can do a lot more stuff than my little fishes can trying to eat it. So I think that's one of the I was going to say beginner mistake, but it's not a beginner mistake. It's more like an American mistake or something like that. More like a first world mistake, where people go like, yeah, I'm just going to get the thing that's going to fix the thing. And you're like, yeah, but you doing some work is what's going to really fix the thing. You know what I mean? So that's going to be that's the advice that I would give myself. So that's the advice I would always give everyone else too. Let's see. Multi-tank action says, one goldfish cleaned my 90-gallon of hair algae in a couple of weeks. Yeah, it is possible that, there are animals out there that are going to eat algae, that's for sure. I just personally don't buy them as the resolution for algae. You know, I don't think that that's a great way for me to get new inhabitants for my ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? Ecosystem is my biggest thing. That's the thing I really like. Boop, doo doo. Oh, I was trying to catch up with the chat here a little bit. Do 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 do. Frank Dominguez said he was going to trim his plants, but he remembered that they were plastic. You can still trim them, though. You can be all gangster. Like, trim them down on super short. I'm waiting for them to grow back so you can tell people. Let's see in the chat. Barbara Jackson says, I've cut off the rot from the other kind of Anubias, and it worked, but not the Cafolia. It just died. Ah, that's a drag. I don't like to hear that. That's one of those weird things. Like, Cafolia is a super hardy Anubias, and in my experience. It's just been that and Frazeri, or Frazeri. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. Maybe it's Frazeri. But the Frazeri was one that I just could not kill. Plus the rhizome's like this thick on the Frazeri. Whoa, dog's barking. Hey, man. Hey! Sometimes you get to just turn around and yell at the dog to shut up. Let's see. JS is here asking, algae is basically an ugly plant, making oxygen, etc. Having a cleanup crew turns the plant into poop. Good trade-off. Both need cleaning. Yeah, see, algae is not detrimental to any of the critters that live in your tank, realistically. It's something that they would normally just live and be around. You know what I'm saying? Mellow Moogle says, UPS man? If it is, I hope he has a new camera for me, because I didn't order one. Biddy, stop. Biddy, come here. You want a cookie? Okay, somebody's here. I don't know who. Okay, I think she's done barking. I think she figured it out. All right, must have just been the mailman. Yep. Mailman's running late on a Monday, coming in during the show. But yeah, as I was talking about algae, most of your animals will live around algae. As a matter of fact, most of your animals want an algae-riddled area, especially if we're talking about like baby shrimps, baby fishes, baby snails, anything. There's lots of good stuff happening around algae for most critters and stuff like that. Who was it? Savannah was talking about willow moss or Java moss or something along those lines. Maybe Phoenix moss, maybe Christmas moss. I would say that a good alternative, if you are cleaning out a lot of the algae and stuff like that, is to provide some mosses, some nice mossy area. That will actually bring along the beneficial stuff that the algae normally provides, like whether it be infusoria or any of the little... it's not prions. I was almost going to say prions, but that's not right. It's something like that. The little tiny microscopic buggers that little baby critters and stuff will feed on. So that is always a good alternative. That's a little more aesthetically pleasing for a lot of people out there. Is that they're like, oh, let me work on doing some moss action, which is fantastic. And I think it's a great way to keep all that going. You know what I mean? All right. Let me see here. A couple things I wanted to hit on real quick. We actually got some 2 new patronizers today. Oh, Savannah A. And Leslie, 2 brand new patronizers here on a Monday. We got a ton of super chats today. We've only got like 8 minutes left in the show, so we're going to run it down to the end here. My phone is going bananas over here. I'm actually going to pick that up for a second and see what the heck is going on here. What is this? All right. Cool. No worries about that. But we'll just do a quick Q&As here for the end. But I want to say thanks to the new patronizers today. That stuff is awesome. You know, when we were at the Fish Club yesterday, I was actually talking with somebody about like one of the important things of the Patreon is that at some point in time, I don't know when. It might be 100 years from now, but at some point in time, there will be a company that may or may not want to sponsor some projects for the show. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you know, they'd be like, let's see who's in the chat here. Mellow, let's say Dan Squires, who's one of our moderators there, right? In the chat. Let's say Dan has something that needs doing. And Dan lives in Europe, and I live in America, right? And let's say that Fluval stops tripping, right? And they're like, hey, I'm going to call this guy, and I'm going to see if they want to sponsor something, right? And then I can actually utilize the Patreon at some point in time to go like, look, there's bare minimum 274 people that are down to like check out whatever crazy project they wanted to sponsor. And I think most companies would be able to go, oh, wow, okay, that's a lot of people. And it's also like, it's able to show them like for sure a bunch of people like this stuff. Whereas like, I think oftentimes when you know, things come up with like big companies like that, they're like, I don't know, that's kind of silly. That's kind of silly. And I'd be like, well, there's 210 people here live right now. There was more than that, but they left. They got bored, which is fine. But it would be a really good point for a lot of people out there as far as like a business goes to go like, look, here's all these people that like totally dig it. Let's do a bigger thing. And guess what? More people would like it because it's a bigger thing. I can't rent like a tractor, you know what I mean? But like, could be a company that could put that together. That'd be kind of cool. Anyhow, let's get back to the chat here. I just want to say thanks to the new Patreonizers. And also thanks to all the super chatters today, because that was buck wild earlier. All right. Mr. Potato, Mr. Thomas Fehrenbach, Mr. Daryl Dimer, Mr. Jack Betts, Mr. Steve Scrimpery, Mr. Dan, Mr. Brandon Cox, Mr. Multi-Tank Addiction, Mr. Kyle Paith, Mr. Justin Lallowing, Chicken Lips 2, and Mr. Bracken. Thank you very much. All you super chatters, thank you very much. It all got crazy earlier, and that was wild. But we had a good time. We got to see a lot of those colors. It was kind of wild. But it was kind of cool. Let's see. Tampa Tom is asking, good question, Wild Nature. I want to know that too. Okay, well, let's go find out what that is. Wild Nature, heavy feedings and water changes. Wild Nature asking, how long would it take 5 shrimp to become 25 Neocaridina davidii? 1 breeding. Excuse me. That was a sneeze that came out of nowhere. Whoa, that was weird. Cherry shrimps and stuff, if you start out with 5, you could have a problem starting a colony with 5. You know, just because sometimes you might end up with all females, you might end up with all males, and you're also going to be starting out with pretty refined genetics with just so few parent potentials. You know, if somebody was going to start out and do a big colony, I always recommend to start with like 25 to 50. Personally, for me, if I was going to start with a colony, I'll start from 50 is where I want to start out at, and go from there. But understandably, a lot of people have different budgets or different start-off points and where they want to be and where they go. But I would normally start with 50 because I want to start with kind of wide variety of parents and stuff like that. And then eventually, you know, probably 2 or 3 years down the road, I'd want to add more. But if you start with 5 to get to 25, should just be 1 breeding. You should get about 20 throws from each breed the first time around. And so if you had 2 of them breed, it shouldn't be a problem. Let's see here. Magic 21 Mom missed so much. We just finished dinner. We'll recap late tonight. Yeah, it will. This will upload as a video, and you guys will be able to catch up to all the beginning part and stuff like that. Never fear, it is 10 minutes shorter than it normally is. I have noticed that a few people have mentioned here in the chat that they missed the beginning, but it will upload as a video, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. D. Parsons, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Perchi CS, what would you suggest as some tank mates for my 50-gallon Planet tank? Currently, I'm getting some Dwarf Neon Rainbows, Julie Corys, and Autos. Actually, we kind of talked about this earlier in the video today. I feel like once you get to 3 species of fish, that you're pretty well-rounded in what the aquarium should be. Personally, like that's just kind of how I feel. Like there just shouldn't be collectoritis happening in a tank. I feel like it's much more beneficial aesthetically speaking, and ecologically speaking, to just have 3 species or something and up the amount of them that you can have, so you could actually build a bigger school. So I always kind of pick 3 fish if I was going to do just a fish only aquarium. Which, as you guys notice in my 240, I have the Apistos, the Bristlenose, and the Killies. The Killies are going to move out, and then Celestial Pearl Danios, Galaxy Rasboras, whatever you want to call them, they're what's going to move in there, a big colony of those, which will also allow the Bristlenose to breed and the Apistos to continue to breed. So eventually there will be a large population of each 3 of those fish in there, and I think that will really round it out. I've got one that will be free swimming. I've got the Bristlenose in there that are kind of low, and then eventually there probably will be shrimp or maybe something else added in there, maybe an individual beta, maybe like a big old beta, or maybe something sneaky like a beta, maybe some betas. But personally, especially if I was starting out an aquarium, I would want to start with just the 3 fish, get it up, get it broken in, and then think about adding some other stuff. Dan Squire says, I think they broke all the super chat. I think they broke the super chat with all of those. Yeah, they probably broke it earlier. It's probably broken and turned off now. Let's see. D. Parsons says, you need to slow down on your awesomeness. Seriously, Joel, you're so great. Thanks for all you do. Oh, thank you, D. You are awesome, too. I'm not going to slow down. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to start piling it on. It is going to be one of those big things. I'm going to keep adding on to the madness, and eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to hire somebody to help me out. We'll see how this goes someday. I don't know. Someday. Maybe someday. Who said who? Aqua just got back from ski club. It was awesome. I hope I didn't miss much. You missed the end of the 2-hour show. Or, no, you caught the end of the 2-hour show. You missed the 2 hours before. Let's see here. Rob, what's happening? Corvus is one of the many that I Patreon to. Oh, right on. Yeah, Rob Hicks is one of our Patreonizers. Let's see here. I'm considering becoming a Patreon for you. Can you talk me into it? Sell me on it. Actually, I did talk about the Patreon earlier, if you want to review the video here. But yeah, I talked about the Patreon. Honestly, it's the best way to support most creators because it gives you a real solid number of what's going on by the end of the month. And it's only a monthly charge for you guys. So you could be $1, $2, $5, $10, blah, blah, blah. Sold. End of the show. See you all later on Wednesday. But if you can't wait till Wednesday, tomorrow, Tuesday, the 13th of February, the Real Fish Talk shall be returning with myself, yours truly, and yours truly. Wait, what? Huh? What happened? No. I'll be the Aquarium Co-op, Corey, and myself will be on the Real Fish Talk tomorrow on the Real Fish Talk channel. Hit the subscribe and all that kind of stuff. and check that out tomorrow. So if you can't wait till Wednesday, you actually see a show with me tomorrow and Corey from the Aquarium Co-op. Tomorrow will be a Q&A. So it will be a great day for you guys to be live because last week we did a project. Tomorrow we're going to be answering a bunch of questions because that's what we're doing. I don't know. It's just going to be cool. So y'all should be there tomorrow if you have a question, you want to get it in. Or worst case scenario, say tomorrow you got to get your wisdom teeth pulled or something like that. And you're like, dude, I can't make it. I just can't make it. What you can do is go ahead and email me, joel@darkstararts.com, and try to get it in ahead of time. Or you could be super cool and get on the Patreon. Throw it on there, or you could do whatever you want. Throw it on the comments down below here. Just do what you got to do. Have a fantastic night out there, everybody. Much love. Stay safe out there. Don't light off any fireworks or anything kind of crazy. Later.